Hey, this is Edward Ambrosi. I'm the founder of Europe Capital Partners, and I'm going to actually create a video about the audit of your B2B business, how to actually scale to 5 million revenue in 2025. So I want to share a little bit more about a free kind of offering that I'm doing for B2B companies. I'm going to do some marketing audits as a Christmas gift, so I want to share a little bit more insights into how this is going to work. So I think that a few companies that want to scale to 5, 10 million revenue the next few months here, I think that this audit is going to allow you to see some of the beliefs and some of the bottlenecks and some of the systems and processes you're going to need to have in place to improve. So a little bit of context. So my name is Edward. I'm a founder of Europe Capital Partners again, and we've been doing sales, marketing, and consulting for the last 8 years in different niches, okay, in different markets. And we've generated millions in revenues for different companies using some of our thinking, some of our process, some of our insights, some of our experience, okay. I'm also an operating partner at a different firm called acquisitions.com, which is quite the biggest and most known M&A network, merger and acquisitions network, where we acquire businesses. And I'm also aware of a back end of a lot of different private equity companies, essentially lower middle market, mid market, where I also worked hands on generating deal flow for some of these bigger companies, where they've acquired a lot of successful businesses, companies that are making 20 million, 50 million, 100 million in revenue, right? And I have some of the back end SOPs and standard operating procedures in place to show you some of the things that you need to have in place as well to get to hundreds of millions in revenues and exit, and how to position yourself for an exit later. So my goal with the video is to attract people in the B2B market that will potentially need an audit of your businesses so that we could scale. So I'm going to be doing a few of these free B2B marketing audits as a Christmas gift, essentially for B2B service-based markets, right? So whatever you're doing right now, if you're in the B2B service-based environment and you sell some sort of high-end, high-ticket service, this is for you specifically. Now, the goal of this audit is to kind of rechange your perspective on how you need to think and what systems you need to have in place to 5x or in some cases 10x your revenue in the next 12 months. And that's kind of minimum, while also you keeping a very high profit margin, right? We want to make sure you're not just generating revenue, but you're still keeping that net profit very high. Ideally, if you're already at close to 500,000 revenue, it's probably a good indicator that you have at least some people and some systems in place, and things are you're gaining momentum. You're getting more. You're getting closer to product market fit, right? So the key thing here is you could book a call if you're that person below that link. Now let me talk about some of the key components we're going to be doing audits in. So current client acquisition. We're going to be asking you for some basic metrics and some of the tools you're using and some of your processes you're using to identify what you're currently doing. In order for us to know if we can even improve the situation, we need to know, of course, what are you currently doing. We're going to be looking into markets that you can get into with outbound and automating and advertising and building content so that you can tap into a lot more revenue. We're going to be looking into whatever you have a community where you can build a community, some sort of newsletter or some sort of additional brand component on a different social media platform such as LinkedIn or YouTube, whatever. Because typically that's where B2B is going to be positioning the branding as well. We're going to be looking at your sales process. So, for example, what are your channels on the sales side? Do you use a multi-channel approach, and what's your follow-up process like? What playbooks you have currently? What current scripts you're using? Now, you're going to be sending me some of the basic stuff you're having, some of the basic standard operating procedures, and then we're going to be looking at some of your recordings. Maybe you already have recordings of your calls on it. We can listen in and improve the process. Service delivery. How do you currently deliver the service? Do you have an automated onboarding process? Are you able to deliver your results by implementing a more productized service, or is it not possible in your current business? So these are going to be some of the levers you can pull to scale a lot quicker. Do you have a system in place right now to hire A players in the company? Do you have an incentive in place for them to keep pushing the revenue of a business? Do you have such a system in place? I'm going to give you a playbook that I have for 2025 based on some of the best recruiters in your niche, because I have a lot of contacts there as well, and that might help you. Do you have a system in place to identify acquisitions so you could buy businesses that would really, really scale your revenue in 2025? And do you have a way of getting capital in place? Understanding financing, understanding debt, equity, seller finance, and different types of lending available in your market as well. So for example, if you're an IT-based company and you're looking to scale, can you go and buy and get capital for a different IT managed service provider company or a different cybersecurity firm or a different type of business that will complement your company? Or let's say you're in a commercial air conditioning. Can you go and buy an air conditioning company that is also commercial or residential or both at the same time in a different market? Now, for doing an audit of this size, consultants or marketing firms or management consultants or companies in general, they're going to be selling this kind of knowledge-based audit for $1,000 to up to $5,000 per company, or in some cases even more. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be sending you most of these processes for free, so you can have them in-house and you can look into them and you can say, hey, this guy has a little bit of a different perspective. Here's what he's suggesting to do based on some of his successes he had in the past. Can we actually reshift and re-implement at least some of the layers and some of these components so that we can scale, maybe not to 10 million, but maybe we're going to get to 3-4 million out of that. So you can get this and use this internally in-house, and you just got to qualify. To qualify, you need to have that run rate that I'm talking about, at least $500,000 revenue a year. You got to be a B2B company, and you need to apply on the calendar. By you booking the call, I'm going to be asking you some of these questions so I can select some of this data and I can give you some of these basic reports. Of course, we're going to keep in touch. I will probably email you a few times after that to make sure that we're doing it correctly and you're getting more value out of this. But again, if you want the implementation of this full audit in your business in 2025, of course, this is not going to be for free. You're going to need to apply for a full 1 year of consulting with Europe Capital Partners so that we can give you some of this process, right? Again, do not apply if you don't want to scale to 5 million revenue plus, because I don't really have time to go in and do this whole process for people that are not really, really serious in scaling. So just keep in mind, this is the process, and I wanted to give this away for people that are qualified and they want to really scale. And I think this is going to be of huge value to some of the firms that are noticing this. To really improve the reach, what I would suggest is send this to a company that is qualified, or reshare some of this content on either YouTube or whatever other platform you're going to see on Instagram, Meta, LinkedIn, whatever you're noticing this content on. So thank you very much, and hopefully we can talk on a call. Thank you.